New impressions, new questions, perhaps solutions, etc. Together with me, Thierry Laupretre. Was that the right pronouncement?
Almost.
Almost. What's the right pronouncement?
Thierry Laupretre.
Laupretre. Yeah, that's French.
That's French.
That's French. But you live here in Norway.
That's right.
And work for Aker BP. What do you do there in Aker BP?
I'm a chief reservoir engineer.
Yeah.
At Aker BP.
And the main reason why you are sitting in the sofa is because you are the chairman of the board of this IOR center.
Yeah, that is right.
Yeah. For how long have you been the boss?
I've been the chairman in the IOR center for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been in existence for the last 7 years, and it's got 1 year to go.
Yeah, 1 year to go. When you are the chairman of this this board, what is your role except from leading the meetings?
What is the role? I guess that's communication with the IOR management, or the IOR center management, coordinating the inputs from the various companies and agreeing the scope of work with the center management.
Yeah, and your bosses say, what do we achieve of the 2 million that we put into this center every year? Isn't that correct?
That is right.
Yeah, and what do you tell them?
Well, there's been quite a lot of deliveries in the center. There's deliveries that we already use in the company. So for instance, today we had a talk on ensemble modeling by Geir Evensen. And this is being used actively in the company to make sure that we make robust decisions on the various projects, that we consider the uncertainty space, and whatever we're going to design for our fields is going to work in most of the geological outcomes. So that is quite concrete and easy to explain. And then there's activities that are maybe more like enablers for the future. So we saw presentations again earlier today that said we have about 2 billion barrels of potential with EOR in Norway. And this is enabled by the work that's been done, for instance, on low salinity and polymers in the IOR center, developing workflows and tools to assess how much we would get from our fields.
So you can say that there has been an effect on your organization, the work that the researchers at the center has done?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And when you're following this conference these 2 days, are you most proud as the chairman of the board, or are you following it like your employee Aker BP?
Well, it's a bit of both. That is, on the one hand, I like to see this summarized version of activities of the IOR center presented in a clear way and communicated out to the industry and the world. And then on the other hand, I like to learn a bit about what's going on elsewhere. And I think the conference has been a good mix of what's in the IOR center and what's outside.
Yeah. So what have you learned these 2 days?
Well, I guess first yesterday I was glad to get the perspective from the authorities.
Yeah.
Telling us that oil and gas is still to be part of the energy mix for a long time. Also indicating how the oil and gas industry can help, and we'll try to do that. And then I followed with a lot of interest the presentations on CCS. These were very interesting examples from Equinor, Aker, carbon capture, and Horizont. So
I have attended this conference 3 times before, and it has never been so much focus on the sustainability, the environment as this year. I asked some people yesterday, is it panic time in the industry now? What do you think?
It's not panic time. I think we all want to achieve the ambitions of the Paris Agreement. And I think it's very good that we started having some clearer commitments from many different parties. Now I'm quite optimistic that we can reach those goals. First because of the commitments, then because of the various incentives that are being triggered by let's say the public pressure.
Yeah.
So influences how investors behave, influences policies, and in the end, that will make financial incentives for doing things greener. So I think that will be a good drive.
Yeah, and net zero 2050, or as Anna from Wintershall said today, 2030. That's tomorrow.
Soon.
Yeah. How is it possible? Is it possible?
To me, yes. I'm optimistic because of commitments, because of incentives, and finally because of the passion that people have in wanting to do the right thing, in helping the world being more sustainable.
Yeah, and you say passion. Ying, you got a passion for the center.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I need to read something here. From the annual report for 2020, and it's your words. As we are approaching the final year of the center, we are now focusing our effort to complete the planned projects and to deliver the research results to our industrial partners for potential field applications. What is there left to work with? Because I said tomorrow in 2030, but the center is soon over.
Well, the center is over with public funding and with the industrial contracts, right?
Yeah.
It's ending, in fact, the 1st of December this year. So we have a few months to
deliver.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're working very hard in collaboration with industrial partners. So very close, working with Thierry and other members of the committees. But also, in addition, we'll work with experts in the companies to help us to communicate the results into the companies and find out where these results can be deployed for the long-term or short-term implementations.
Yeah, but the fact is, it's after 8 years. This, could I call it a project, or
it's a center lifetime defined by the Research Council.
Yeah, you got 5 years plus 3 years.
Yes.
So after this year, you should have ended all the projects that you have. Is that possible?
Yes, the projects will be ended as planned. Of course, that's our ambition. Very much pushed by the industry.
Yeah.
The date, we have to deliver. Of course, these 8 years have given us enormous knowledge accumulation, right?
Yeah.
Both in terms of the results, but also resources, human resources. We have educated many PhDs, postdocs, researchers have increased their competences, which make a foundation to continue our work. The solutions are still, we have to implement, and we have to seek for new solutions to fulfill this challenge goal of 2030 or 2050 net zero, energy production.
But it's possible then, Thierry, that you and your company and the other collaborators could go to the Research Council and said, we need more years for the center. Is that possible to do?
Yeah, that is possible to do. Then it's not sure that it would be called the IOR Center of Norway, but we are working on on a proposal to create a new center. So to continue IOR activities, but also include some activities like CCS and so build on the competence that we've developed over the last.
So you say the same people will start a new center?
The same people have definitely a big will to continue to collaborate, and I think that's one of the nice things that's been accomplished with the center is that tight collaboration between North, IFE, UES, and the industry.
Yeah, because I have to read something else from the midterm evaluation. After 5 years, the research council they came to Stavanger. And they researched you. See what have you done? Evaluate, yeah. And then they said the project has succeeded in creating context and collaborators. The combination of work at different scales, nanopore, core, and field, is excellent. The center has an excellent international profile, etc., etc. That's quite nice to read, isn't it?
Isn't it? Well,
yeah.
It is just not to read, but the center is really performing very well,
yeah.
With a lot of international leading results, right? Yeah.
So, in your words, is it a hope then that there will be more to do after this year?
Of course,
yeah.
Just not hope, but I think also there is a need to really maximizing the remaining resources to get it out of the ground, to produce enough energy in the sort of late life of the oil and gas industry in Norway.
Yeah.
Right?
And there is a connection here. You have the industry and the science. Do they understand each other?
Of course. There are a lot of skilled workforces at the oil and gas companies. Like Thierry is a very good example.
Yeah.
So we are in a very good communication on the same wavelengths. But, implementing research into innovation and into the field application is a long way. Mm-hmm. It's very hard. So education of people, young people particularly, to pick up the new knowledge, and also on the other side, industry requires to develop relevant methodologies, technologies for the field implementations. So dialogue is very important, but also a lot of hard work to really get, the whole process, bringing the good ideas into testing, validation, and field applications. So as Thierry mentioned, we're preparing a continuation of the center based on the result we have achieved. So I think most important is to use our competence and tools and to look for new solutions. Like Gunnar said today, we have to implement them fast enough.
Yeah.
Right? So we are looking forward to put up a new center with a focus on the innovation to bring the result into the application.
And you will be the chairman of the board?
That is not a given, but I'll be happy to contribute and participate in a potential new center.
Yeah, do you think that the industry partners here will say, yeah, we are joining you?
I believe there's a recognized need for more research, for more help in energy efficient development of the fields, in making sure that we get the maximum recovery, and also linking to low carbon solutions.
Yeah.
I think we need help from these institutes to get there.
And we have talked about the year of 2030 and 2045 and 2050. Which year is it carbon free and zero emissions, etc.? What do you think, Ying?
It's not up to researchers to say, right? But we want to deliver the methodologies, the solutions to help the companies with such an ambitious goal. Mm. So our new center...
Too ambitious?
No, never too ambitious.
No?
We have to be ambitious enough. So our new center, of course, with the public funding, again, it's 8 years. So actually targeting the next goal by 2030.
Yeah.
So of course Anna gave us a very, very large challenge, right? Net zero by 2030.
Yeah, and you
Yes.
will help her. That's your plan.
We will, yes,
Yeah.
as much as we can.
So if I now have listened, you have a plan that this will continue in a way after this year. So what, in the end now, what are you most proud of after these 8 years? Ying first.
Well, we are very proud of all the results we have obtained, and we are proud that we are in a good collaboration with industry. Of course, there are a lot of undone things, but we are really proud of the 8 years' work. I think if I put one particular example, is actually the young people we have educated.
Yeah. Young PhDs, etc.
Young PhDs, postdocs, and also we have involved a lot of master thesis students. And these are the young generation which will continue our work, right? There are many years left in the industry. Yeah.
Thierry?
I think Ying covered two important aspects. The fact that the center has educated a lot of new talents, and then in the future we'll need to continue to motivate people to study these disciplines. Collaboration between academics and the industry, that is a good achievement. And then there's many deliverables that, well, we covered partly earlier. But I think managing to do a product like IOR SIM to try and assess the potential of low salinity water flood, combining all the observations from all the detailed core experiment, that is actually a very valuable product that we can implement in companies to allow projects to happen.